Meow. Hello. Alright, so I have another one for you. This one is written by somebody who I am, I guess, a work associate. It would be the best way to put it. My coworkers. That doesn't look right. Hold on. I'll figure it out. I'll get it centered. Let me try to just figure out why it's not centering. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Can we move this out maybe? Did that work? It's definitely not an ideal solution, but I suppose it works. Oh, geez, what the hell? Bruh. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, I figured it out. It's not the page that needs to change, it's OBS. I need to unlock this. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. I was like, I just couldn't figure it out. I was trying so hard to like zoom in the page. But yeah, it was an OBS issue. Okay, so welcome back to another Alice of the Red Pen episode. I need a new name. Or maybe that will be the name. I just haven't really decided. So this one's written by someone who I know actually has like some pretty decent writing talent and experience. Evil eyes glowered. That's an interesting word. Glowered at Adrian as he got into the car. All right, that's fine. That's it's intriguing because we're like, well, that's intriguing. It is. A row of crimson pinpricks in the distance, half shrouded by a veil of late October mists. What? This seems like a fragment. A row of crimson pinpricks in the distance. I guess it's supposed to just be more poetic. Maybe it's speaking of stars. He slammed the driver's side door hard enough to jar the night. So we're personifying the night itself. That's fine. Not that the windmills cared. Oh, that's adorable. Now we're personifying the windmills. I like that a lot. They kept up their languid dance with the wind, kept throwing their fairy tale witch's light in his face through the windshield. Yeah, I mean, it's poetic. It sounds like I should be singing it more so than I should be like editing it. He turned the pickup around and left the farmyard, heading out for his final and most important Halloween. Okay, this sentence is quite powerful. I don't know about these, but this one is certainly like his most important Halloween. Like that is a strong lead. So, and here's why this is a strong lead. So we have a character, we have potentially an antagonist to this character, we have sort of another character with the windmill, or at least like the creepiness of the night itself, like witches light, windmills that don't care, the night itself being jarred. So we have like an atmosphere. So it may be like person versus environment. So, but yeah, his most important Halloween. Like now we have a plot. The hill, or more precisely, the mess of awarenesses, ancestors and loose existences clustering around the nexus that thought of itself as the hill, as far as it could think, felt the cracks in the veil. Okay, this is phenomenal. I'm not just saying that. Like, I actually think that this is, how do I put this politely? This is high skill shitposting. This is not something that is written to be more than experimental and poetic. So I'm not going to address this the way that I would like normal average prose. And I'm going to look at this as more of like a creative exercise in writing, which I think it's hitting pretty pitch perfect. Like, as we were just talking about, like, that's strange. Like, why are the windmills responding to the light? Like, that's super weird. But now it's like, it's not weird. That's actually what it's about. It's like Hayao Miyazaki, like, the hills have eyes. But, like, they actually have eyes. Ooh, ooh. And they're cute. It's like Mario. Dun, 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 dun. And then it's like little eyes. Reaching out came within reach. The dead could visit their dependents on this eve. The dead so inclined. I like that line. The dead so inclined. Like, you could do that, so inclined. Consumerism, electricity, light, and electromagnetic pollution made for an abrasive return to Earth, however, so most of them stayed put. Oh, don't I understand that? Like, same, bro. On its part, so now the hill is like a fallen character, the hill snaked a sliver of itself through the passage and wrapped it around the seed it had planted in the young man's head. I'm a little confused what this means, but I don't really know how to like give advice on editing this because it's like ugh. The drive took Adrian down gravel paths through the pine woods where he'd played as a child, where he'd have hoped to see his own sons play. Ooh, hoped is past tense. Life hadn't turned out that way. Yep, and there's the follow-up. Alone with the small holding ever since Mom passed away. He dreamed of raising pigs once. Pigs, while his old classmates left for university to do whatever the fuck they did in computer science. The 21st century didn't have the patience or the decency for pigs. Its loss. I think our follow-up talking about technology, not as strong as the poetry above. The hill didn't appreciate the needles stuck into its brain either, as the churning memories of ancient ecosystems older than most genus Homo, it had little in common with the human pouring frustration across its head. Once they got to talking, however, the hill and the human were in full agreement. The windmills had to go. The needles jarred, holes in the order lacunae, where entropy seeped in. Is this like the animal lacunae? An unfilled space or interval or gap. I've never even heard this word.
Lacuna.
Lacuna?
Lacuna.
I've never heard this word. That's just my bad. I've never heard that. Sleepy rural Norwegian roads lay even more deserted than usual as Halloween drew to a close. Adrian passed his old elementary school on the left, just outside the village, flashed past the bus stop where he'd waited for his parents to pick him up too many times to count. That's actually a pretty good characterization. It shows it's one sentence, but it gives you an entire background of this kid's family dynamics. It introduces multiple characters. It's pretty concise. Trapping the wind, period. A fool's errand, even for humans. The hill knew. The wind couldn't be tricked. A devilish trickster, it had always found a way to cheat the house. I kind of like this, personifying the wind. It's hard to figure out what the tone is here, trapping the wind. A fool's errand, even for humans, the hill knew. Yeah, I kind of like that. Only the street lamps kept him company as Adrian traversed the village. A few Halloween stragglers passed him in the dark, older kids and teenagers skirting up against their curfew. I like that a lot. Older kids and teenagers skirting up against their curfews. That's just the skirting up against is, I don't know, it just seems right. Superheroes and witches mostly. Adrian felt a terrible pang of nostalgia, but he forced himself to keep his face stony. In spite of himself, he wanted to give these wealthy, well-fed teens a treat of his own, a last sign of respect to the holiday and to life itself, but all he had was a box of snus and an empty chewing gum wrapper. This one may need a little bit of work if it's going to be reworked. I don't know. There's just something wacky about this. I get it, though. With guidance from the hill, he'd bled, staining the rocks with his life. Jeez. Humans had fought and died there before, in the early Iron Age, unless that was another hill in another line of reality. The hill had trouble telling. Still, they'd fused, intention to intention. Make a stand, die trying, all of the above, and then some. Okay, I'm kind of not really following what's actually happening here. Some word. The sign leered at him. Oh, it's a place, I see. The sign leered at him, vaguely pastoral and non-threatening, a stylized windmill in between the fields. Screw that. Anger animated him as Adrian hammered on the door. When that didn't help, he forced his way in with a series of kicks, drip-fed with potency from the hill. Yeah, you're losing me. This is a little too abstract, I think. I don't know how to edit something like this. What am I reading? Steps disappeared under his leg in 2s and 3s. He made a beeline for the one occupied office, and swung his head around the doorframe. Trick or treat, you bastard! Adrian? The man in the office chair still had those same vulnerable eyes, the one Adrian's remembered from their walks to the bus stop after school. What is this guy saying? I don't know what this guy's saying. You really thought you'd get away with it, didn't you? Krister got to his feet and crossed his arms. Adrian, please, are you drunk? With his chin between index finger and thumb, Adrian pretended he had to think. Actually, scratch that. Trick it is. We're going for a little country drive. No big deal. Crimson halos spread from his hand. Eldritch light shimmering like blood. I kind of get that. Krister crumpled to the floor, and his head hit the hardwood with satisfying thud. I'm not going to lie, I'm bored and I have no idea what's happening. When the young man had asked for fire, the hill had managed to scrounge up some portable embers, the dead cores of spirits long since recycled. The size of pebbles, they'd fit in any crack, yet burn not hot enough to sterilize the ethereal world as well as the physical. I don't want to go on. Soon after, Adrian left town with an unconscious Krister in the passenger's seat and set ablaze behind him with the former office of this place smoking in the dark. Okay, so he burns it down and kidnaps a dude from his childhood who traumatized him, I guess. And the hill also wanted to be in on the game? I don't know. Cranes and diggers still had the hilltop under martial law. It's kind of cute. Adrian heaved his passenger onto the truck bed, then looked up at the pale tower in front of him. Criminally tall, I get that. A monument to hubris. That's what I think about every time I'm in New York City. I'm like, what the fuck, man? With a little push from the hill, he soared through the autumnal air, gliding up past the white smoothness of the windmill until he perched at the top. Okay. And the hill gathered strength underneath. A properly sanctified death would be a rare meal. With the blossoming unlife spreading through its system, the thrill of ceasing in its veins, it would shrug off the stakes the human had paled into its skin. So they're killing the windmill? Feeling more hill and less himself by the minute, here on top of the hill in his world, Adrian drew on the bond to hoist Krister high into the air, whisking him up with an arc of bloody energy. The CEO of the wind farm, or whatever, his sometime childhood friend, hung between the starry sky and the ground. I like that, hung between the starry sky and the ground. Suspended in a cocoon of unnatural light. I have no fucking idea what's happening. Yeah, this is just nonsense. Adrian bent at the knee and prepared for the plunge when a voice below him stopped him. Wait. Stop. His sister's voice carried all the way to him, amplified by means as unconventional as his own. Okay, it's quite the shortcut, but I get it. Where did you come from? He shouted back. There hadn't been any other cars at the base of the windmill. I talked to Mom. She came back to tell me you were here. Or you'd be here. You're not the only one to take advantage of the open veil on All Hallows Eve. Go home, Pia, he said. I'm fine. Give the kids my regards. Hope she got a good haul this year. Oh, what the hell? You've got to stop now. Get down. Let go. Krister, go. Let Krister go or I'll call the police. A harsh laugh left his lips. His head swam with the buzz of the hill, stronger than any alcohol. This fucker sold us out. Thanks to him, your daughter's gonna have to live with these monstrosity all her life. It's like industrialism giving us the finger every time we look at the hills our parents and grandpas left us. Yeah, I kind of get this. Even from all the way up here, he recognized her stance. The "you've done it now" big sister stance. Another thorn of nostalgia scraped him, but he pushed it away, let the hills swallow it. I went to all the meetings, Pia said, all the protests, collected signatures, you name it, but it's done, over, we've got to move on. it isn't worth murdering people you've grown up with, then what is? Real sustainable communities? The old clans, tribes, they got this stuff. Someone screws over everyone else, throws away their honor, they're out. He made a slashing motion across his throat. This is dramatic. It's good writing. We don't live in the Viking Age anymore, for better or worse. Adrian's face swam in a spider web of murky shadows. The hills caress. Okay, this is too far. This is where I draw the line. It's too purple. You've gone too far. For all the good it's gonna do, Krister here. Please, Adrian, just come down. A plaintive note had crept into her voice. I kind of like that. Plaintive. What happened to Arn? Oh, God. All these different people. All those gentle old sages we used to admire. I thought we outgrew the Kaczynski stuff back in high school. You can never outgrow Uncle Ted. Adrian drew a deep breath. The blades kept spinning past slowly, almost with grace. Yeah, well, maybe Kaczynski had a fucking point. Well, he had a lot of points. He had a whole book's worth of points. Clenching his fist, he released the spell. Krister plummeted to earth, eyes closed. Adrian stepped into the air to join him, and for a single glorious moment, he rode the wind. The hill felt the veil thicken. Earth's orbit drew it away from the domain of the breathing, the domain of the free and unfree winds. Spreading itself, pushing out against the closing barrier, it opened up and welcomed the young man home. Oh, geez, man. Okay, we're done with all that. So that's quite the writing. I mean, it's interesting because like the grammar is like flawless. Like I don't need to make any notations here whatsoever. There's not like any of the usual problems I see. There's not even really like problems with this. I really don't know what to make of it. I appreciate you giving me access to the document. I don't know what to say. Like it's hard to edit something like this into something different because it's like I do have some faults with it that I think could be like strengthened, but I'm not sure it'd be like even really worth it. And that's only that like some of it is just too abstract. But like it's not really great feedback. It's just very bizarre. Trick or treat, you bastard. I kind of like that. Yeah, I'm struggling to like know really what to say to this. It's like you take on the form of a deity, you gain magical powers, and then you go try to destroy windmills because you're like a Luddite and you're against change because it's like against God or Mother Nature or whatever. I get it. I also wish we could get rid of street lights. Like I would write the same kind of story, but it'd be from the perspective of someone who just like can't fucking stand the light. Anyways, yeah, shit. I mean, I truly don't know what else to say about this. That's really all we've got. Thanks for letting me do this live. Meow. We'll be back again soon.